Everyone please take a seat. And welcome to the 13th Annual Upper School Award Ceremony. This event is truly one of my favorite events of the year. It has nothing to do with the fact that I know when it's over or on summer break. The reason why I love this event is because it really represents what we stand for as a school. In CTA, our goal is to set up our students for success, a life of excellence, and for embracing hard work. And this evening, what we're going to do is we're going to celebrate those individuals who have demonstrated excellence, for those who persevered, and for those who've worked hard. I believe our host this evening, when he was born, I think he came out of the womb with 3 things: a baseball bat, a camera, and a pen. But the truth is, there's another thing, which is a big heart. His love for his students and for the school, and what he's willing to do for the school and for the students, is absolutely incredible and second to none. And the last thing is, and why I think he's the perfect host, is tonight is about celebrating excellence. And our host represents that. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's behind the camera, or on the baseball field. Please join me in welcoming our host, Mr. Steve Guines.
That was very nice, unnecessary, nice. Deb gets a lot of credit, so for that too. So thanks, my better half. It's been quite a week here at CTA. On Sunday, we heard from the class of 2017 who spoke so beautifully as graduates. We held our final exams, and tonight our incoming freshmen reflected on their readiness to cross over into high school. Yes, tonight we celebrate so many things, but most of all, we celebrate not having to be here. There's no school tomorrow. And then, or the day after that, we've arrived at the holiday known around the world as the last day of school. So let's take a moment to just a moment to pay tribute to these other accomplishments, and so welcome all to the 2017 CTA Upper School Awards Ceremony. Thinking back to last June, following the graduation in the class of 2016 and crossing of the freshman speech bridge, it was a tumultuous summer. We heard that Great Britain had voted to leave the European Union. We celebrated the rise of Simone Biles and Katie Ledecky. We wondered what happened to Barb. And on the presidential campaign trail, we also heard Donald Trump's offensive and shocking remarks, which would certainly mark the end of his political career. Strength of character, superb relationships, and service to others, on the other hand, describe the Citizenship Award. The junior high experience begins its transition into these larger global missions for CTA and its students, relationships with peers and teachers, and leadership is a big part of living a life of meaning. And it starts in the middle school. We are excited to add the 7th grade Citizenship Award because 7th graders are citizens too. And I feel a little bittersweet to call up Dr. E to give the award. Anna, you have served CTA so well. You have been an enthusiastic and inspiring colleague. Where are you? There you are. Your spirit and love of literature lit up the classroom. We wish you so much success in Israel next year, where you can keep tabs on your AP Lit students and perhaps get some reading done on your own. Here's Dr. E.
following story. The novel deals with a dystopia where all color and differences have been banished. To encourage a discussion about the suggestive power of color in our lives, I asked my students to write about the thoughts and feelings that certain colors evoke from them. On the big yellow poster board, one of the 7th graders had written down, Toba. There she was, next to sunshine, warmth, happiness. How appropriate. Teachers and students alike, anyone who has been in Toba's presence knows the power of her contagious smile and her bouncing step as she fills the corridors of CTA with her unbridled optimism and her bright personality. Seeing her interact with others is an inspiration. She treats others with kindness, respect, and generosity, and displays a sensitivity to the feelings of others that shows a maturity and depth that goes beyond her chronological age. She is always ready to comfort someone who is sad, or to encourage those who need a boost. I couldn't think of a more deserving choice for the 7th grade edition of the Distinguished Citizenship Award. Please join me in congratulating Toba Blumenfeld.
Okay. Here.
For the 8th grade Citizenship Award, I can attest to this student's unwavering excellence academically. She exudes a genuine respect for others, peers, and teachers alike, and in turn receives it back. She keeps a steady keel, and that is the secret to her success. And she has won the 8th grade Citizenship Award. Hannah Garvin. I'd like to welcome our next presenter. He's had a great run as first year head of school, and he likes to share credit, like he did for our amazing Dream With Us campaign recently, which proved CTA's important mission. But there is something for which he is solely responsible, and that is CTA not having any snow days this year. Thanks a lot, Rabbi Randolph. Here he is to give the Rabbi Julius L. Baker Torah Scholarship Award.
As I told the students who complained about the snow day, if Hashem did his part, I would have done mine. The Rabbi Julius L. Baker Torah Scholarship Award was endowed by Irving Baker, Olav Shalom. And every time that Irv Baker would come to present the award, he was very particular about the information he shared about his father. It was very important to him. So I'd like to read the text that Irv Baker would always read about his father as a continued legacy to Irv Baker. Rabbi Julius L. Baker came to the U.S. in 1932 and he made Aliyah to Israel in 1972. He built the Havashalom Shul in 1961 and served as a rabbi at a time that the shul could not afford to pay a rabbi, and he did not need to be paid. He was a shochet in the mall as well as a businessman. When he left Europe, he often stated that he was on his way to Palestine, but stopped off for 40 years along the way in the U.S. This award is administered through the fund held at the Columbus Jewish Foundation for the purpose of promoting Torah study among Torah Academy students and graduates. It is granted annually to a graduating 8th grader continuing in yeshiva or Hebrew Day High School and carries a one-year tuition grant of $1,000. The award is granted to a student who is diligent in Torah study and the performance of mitzvot, exhibits exemplary human behavior, and shows promise of a continued Torah study. This award continues the Baker family's legacy and commitment to CTA.
The recipient of this award has demonstrated extreme diligence in Torah study, a tremendous deep appreciation for mitzvot, and it displays incredible midot at all times with a continuous big smile. It gives me great pleasure to call on Talia Delman to receive.
Okay, I'm the photo taker, okay? And then I'm going to have you a tiny bit closer. Yeah. All right. One more. Thank you.
Many people take pleasure in often reminding me about how difficult of a job it is to run a school. In fact, several people have told me this past week they're so happy they're not me. But the reality is, it's impossible to run a school without a really good team, an incredible team. I'm privileged at CTA to have excellent teachers. Our students are privileged and I'm fortunate to have them. And I'm extra lucky to have a wonderful upper school principal. Mrs. Delman, she's not only the guidance counselor, school counselor, she really believes in every single student. She's demanding, she might be tough, but the reason for that is because she really believes and knows the potential of every single student in this school. And her job is to partner with every student and take the time to do whatever is possible to help them meet their potential. Please, everybody, stand up and give Mrs. Delman a deserved standing ovation.
So, if you're following the program, we're on the part called academic recognition. You don't have a program around the table back there. How do we measure learning? If someone can participate in a meaningful way in a class discussion, but they forget everything the next week, did they actually learn it? If someone can repeat back word for word the definitions, but they can't write a coherent sentence about it, do they actually understand? To be honest with you, I don't know that grades are always the best reflection of learning or of effort. Some things come easy for one person and hard for the next. So the question can be asked if grading is fair. I want you to know your teachers and I discuss these questions, and we try very hard to follow a transparent system that is fair and gives each and every student the chance to succeed. You go ahead. No matter his or her innate abilities and challenges. At the end of the day, grades are the best tool we have. They are not a measure of one's inherent worth. They're a measure of academic success. Those students who earn high grades all year deserve to be recognized for their perseverance no matter the challenges or obstacles they faced. I'm going to read out a list of those upper school students who have earned only A's for each quarter this year. We're calling that academic excellence. And then we're going to add the students who earned A's and B's. We're going to call that academic achievement. When you hear your name called, please stand up at where you are at your seat. And everybody will hold our applause till the end of the list. So earning all A's each quarter this year, for 12th graders this is all 4 quarters. For everybody else it's quarters 1 through 3 because your grades aren't in yet. Okay, starting with 7th grade, Yaki Liebesman.
It was a year of comebacks. Cleveland Cavaliers came back from 3-1. The Chicago Cubs came back from the same deficit. New England Patriots mounted the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. Not to be outdone, the CTA Science Department, presented by Dr. Kennedy and Mrs. Piatz, stood with its back against the wall. Actually, it doesn't quite describe it. There was no back. There was no wall. But with the additions of Mrs. Rosenbaum and Dr. Park, science is back and better than ever at CTA. However, a little case of strep throat has necessitated Mrs. Rosenbaum's absence tonight, and so on behalf of the Science Department, I shall present the Carl and Gussie Steinberg Scholarship Award. About the winner, Mrs. Rosenbaum writes, the Carl and Gussie Steinberg Scholarship Award is awarded to a 12th grader who shows a great potential in science as a career. With her organizational and planning skills, dedication to improvement and understanding, her lab skills, and superbly written lab reports, it is our honor to give this award to Dasha Cooperberg. We wish you great success, Dasha, as you continue your science journey at OSU in the chemistry department. The CTA experience is on full display on graduation night. The graduates, everyone, embody a life of success and meaning. And now they take it to the next level. So many deserving candidates for the Deborah and Philip Millen Award crowded the stage on Sunday. This year's recipient, I'm happy to announce, fulfills the criteria of the award. In particular, this recipient has shown tremendous sensitivity of character, integrity, and empathy toward others. In his work with all his teachers, he is a game participant, always rising to the challenge when called upon. We will miss his unflagging kindness, his tenacity, and his good humor. The Deborah and Philip Millen Memorial Award goes to Jakob Metz.
Look at me and then your mama. Hold it.
These next two awards have been founded by alumni who want to return the favor. I am so thrilled to introduce our next presenter. There remains a glow around CTA from your years here, Josh. And we are so excited to have you back as an esteemed alumnus who is giving back to your community, your alma mater, in the most fitting way. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Bema, along with Mrs. Delman, one of CTA's finest, Josh Wolf.
Good evening, class of 2017 CTA faculty, friends, and parents. It is so wonderful to be back here this evening. I have really missed this place. I A year ago, sitting here in the shul alongside my classmates, just like you are tonight, so many thoughts are running through my mind. I was excited to begin my university career at Arbeit, and yet I was also very sad to be leaving CTA. 1 year later, I want you to know what I have come to realize. While it may be difficult to leave the warm cocoon of this amazing school, do not worry because you are well prepared. What you have learned here at CTA will guide and nurture you. More importantly, the door is always open to welcome you back. Last year, I was honored to receive the Deborah and Philip Millen Scholarship Award. During the drive home, I couldn't help but feel grateful to have had the opportunity of being a part of the school community. I wanted to do something meaningful for the school that had given me so much, and this is when the idea hit me. I told my parents I would like to take my scholarship money and establish a new scholarship award to be presented annually at the end of the year assembly to a deserving upper school student. After all, no matter how big or how small a reward, all of us can make a difference. Those of you who know me well will remember just how important the word kindness is to me. With that word in mind, I partnered with the school in creating an award to be given to a student who shows a determination to achieve and not give up. A student who shows positivity, friendliness, and respect towards others. A student who acts with grace in the face of adversity, all the while coping and overcoming challenges and obstacles. And thus, the Josh Wolf Award and Scholarship for Perseverance and Positivity was born. While winning an award is an important accomplishment, I want you to remember that becoming a kind adult is an even greater achievement. Tonight is a moment of celebration and hope. However, as you embark on the next stage of your life, remember, kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thinking creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. Congratulations, CTA Class of 2017. I wish you all great acts of kindness and happiness.
The benefactor of this award embodies these two qualities, positivity and perseverance, as well as the recipient does. Most people face challenges and setbacks, and for most of us, those incidents feel like the reason that we didn't accomplish what we had hoped to. The winner of this award moves forward no matter what. He maintains a friendly, kind, and positive spirit no matter what. In this way, he, like Josh, is someone we can all learn from. It is my honor to bestow the Josh Wolf Award for Perseverance and Positivity on Julian Ebenberry.
A long time ago, when I interviewed for the job at CTA, I sat in front of two stalwart, veteran English teachers who gave me a chance. But besides that troubling momentary lack of judgment, they both lived inspiring lives as English teachers, and I was humbled to walk in their footsteps. Today is a fitting tribute to Julie and to Susan through the generosity of alumnus Daniel Friedman to honor their memory through their award, which is awarded to that student who, in short, internalizes reading. Nominees were to submit a list of books they read and an essay that explored the impact of a particular reading experience. To Julie and to Susan, I say, I am proud to carry on your legacy. To Daniel Friedman, I'm moved by your story of inspiration and generosity to give back. And to those nominees, I too am humbled by your responses. And I'm also happy to be the first of many to say this tonight, but I really mean it. The decision was nearly impossible. But finally, I am happy to bestow the award honoring Julie Moskowitz and Susan Zanner to Danny Lane.
Let's look at the picture. Hold on, one more.
Also in August, in our new uniforms, we set forth into the evaluation year to become a school accredited like others in the Independent Association of Central States. Which sounds like a Central Asian regime, except this one had more surveillance and forced interrogations. And so all of us had to put on our best performances for the ISACS committee. Here to award the very best in the performing arts is Mrs. Dowling.
Betty Ziskin, Zichrona Levracha, was the mother of Mrs. Hirschfield, who was the first principal of CTA's high school and my predecessor. The award in Mrs. Ziskin's memory was chosen because she was a lover of the theater. Mrs. Hirschfield always supported the dramatic arts at CTA, and I hoped to continue in that tradition. In our small school, all activities require student initiative and leadership. This is easier said than done. The recipient of this year's award took the lead role in bringing the dramatic arts back into our school. Okay. Jillian Hitzagi. She put herself out on a limb, trying new things and learning along the way. She researched scripts, learned how to buy the rights to a script, encouraged her peers to audition, face adversity, but kept going. Worked with a director to learn all the duties of a producer, researched how to build a playbill and produced a high-quality piece, acted in the play as well, and most important, Jillian created an opportunity for CTA kids to be in a show, and for some it was the first in their lives. It's my true pleasure to award the Betty Ziskin Award to Jillian.
Go ahead. I didn't even look.
A note about the Commendation Cup Awards. These 11 awards are sponsored by CTA benefactors who have taken an active role in our mission to develop our students into educated, contributing, active, aware members of contemporary American and Jewish societies. I am honored to, well, oftentimes the benefactor is here tonight, but unfortunately Larry just was called away. So I will be bestowing the Creativity Award. What is learning but making connections? And what trait is more necessary to making connections than the ability to see them? This year's winner of the Harry and Ivan Gilbert Creativity Award is indeed deserving for his unique outlook, his ability to make connections, and his ability to share his discoveries. He is a young man of profound integrity and courage to stand by his ideas. This year's Harry and Ivan Gilbert Creativity Award goes to Benny McKeas. The Language Arts Award recipient is a master of words. Among new terms we learned this year: Brexit, fake news, alternative facts, alt-right, catch me outside, how about that? And of course, lit, an implied reference to the literary arts. This year's award winner mastered all of those new terms and some others. We heard her remarkable speech on Sunday, just one small sampling of her remarkable body of work. Today we call her name for the Sage Moreno Language Arts Award, like we call for the sun coming up in the morning. The Sage Moreno Language Arts Award goes to Shayna Rizzaga.
Hold on, one more.
It was the year of this. The fidget spinner, which no doubt will be around a while like Crocs and silly bands. With so many direct distractions in our lives, thankfully we had this to help us stay focused at the task at hand. Oh. I forgot. It's the Science Award. Mrs. Rosenbaum writes, when we evaluated the entire high school student body to determine who should be nominated for the Science Achievement Award, we found many well-deserving students for reasons that range from personal accomplishment to extraordinary lab skills. Dr. Park and I are very proud of all of our science students this year. We chose to give this award to a student who not only showed tremendous achievement this year, but also has a level of dedication that is above and beyond what is normally seen in high school students. This student's quest for knowledge, as he calls it, is sincere, and his devotion to complete understanding and application is unique. When he loses points on a test, it was never the points that bothered him. It was that there was something more to learn, more to understand. And with this mindset, this student was able to gain the skills essential for a scientist and the necessary skills of a thinker. Congratulations. For the Science Achievement Award goes to Benny McKeas.
Let's do it again, Benny. Smile. Hold on one more.
Okay. In the fall, the campaign raged on, and by the election, all of us had lost half of our Facebook friends. And Donald Trump uttered outrageous and offensive comments which marked the end of his political career. But somehow Mr. Kramer was immune to that. He was above the fray. I've tried to friend him, Instagram him, and Snapchat him, but he will not be deterred or distracted from being an amazing math teacher. Here he is to give the Dr. Charles Young Mathematics Award.
recipient of the Mathematics Award is one of the brightest and hardest working students that I've had the honor of working with over the years. This student's dedication to studying and learning mathematics is truly remarkable. The Math Department at CTA is proud to present this year's Dr. Charles Young Mathematics Award to Dasha Cooper.
Come over a little bit out. Look my way, Charles. Hold on, one more. Okay.
In the news, we heard the mother of all bombs was dropped this year. But after we heard Deborah Kira wasn't coming back, we got straight to work. And we are excited about our homegrown candidate for the job. I am also excited to introduce our new presenter. When we hear news of the Russian hacking scandal, we get the feeling that this is all part of a Mr. Prey's sim, don't you? I kind of think so. At any rate, during a recent White House press conference, the rankings came out. It's true. And he is the second to least anti-Semitic person you have ever seen, Mr. Tim Prey.
Hi, everyone. Give it here. I have other things to do. The student who will be honored with the Dr. Milton and Shirley Leventon Social Studies Award is somebody who spans all the areas of education. In the education world, we are asked to measure. Which is a physical action to somehow quantify some kind of physical dimension. But that's really not how education appears, and it's very, very difficult to observe. In this case, it becomes obvious. The award is presented to the student who has exhibited a heightened interest in all aspects of the various social studies classes, someone who has demonstrated leadership in promoting the awareness of the importance of history. This student has grown and improved in such obvious ways. She has done simply some of the finest work that I have ever seen in any student, and that is really remarkable when one considers that initially her writing, I don't mean stylistically, her writing physically inspired me to give her a nickname, Shane Ork. I felt like a human couldn't possibly read her writing and would require an orc. I don't know how she has done it, whether it is through hard work and diligence or the fact that she wears a performance-enhancing pair of Converse high tops so often. But the Dr. Milton Shirley Leventon Social Studies Award goes to Shayna herself.
Hold on.
This spring, Drew took the mound got a sign from Noah, delivered a pitch. It was a truly remarkable event. Not because it was a strike, but on April 25th, the Lions played their first varsity game on the field right here at CTA. It's a story, 14 years in the making. The development of a diamond on CTA remains a goal. It's a self-supporting and school-supporting initiative to develop our facilities, one that supports not just our athletics. And there's no one who deserves more credit than that moment than our next presenter, Matt Bailey.
I'd like to present a short story and address the crowd after I present my award. I'd like to thank the Cole family for sponsoring the Physical Education Cup this year. This recipient has held himself to a high standard and accountability for his actions. He's a leader, hard worker, and role model for our younger students here at CTA. He's pertinent to class, the first one to ask, can you do anything to help? He's also very much involved in our after-school athletics as a true leader in his class. This year's Physical Education Cup winner is Benzion Disser. Congratulations, Benzion. I'd like to share something I recently came across. I'm usually pretty quick at my speeches, and this won't take much of your time either. I'm not the greatest public speaker, and these 8th graders probably put me to shame. Please bear with me. There used to be this old baseball coach, Coach John Stilius, who started coaching in 1948 at Cal Poly and died in 2009 at the age of 91. Every year, coaches would come around the nation to listen to his annual speech at the National Convention. One speech caught me by surprise, where he wore a full-size home plate as a necklace as he spoke at this National Convention. He spoke slowly in a raspy voice with his big, huge plate around him. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing a home plate around my neck. Or maybe you think I'm from some state hospital. I may be old, but trust me, I'm not crazy. The reason I stand before you today is to share with you baseball people what I've learned in my life. And what I've learned about the home plate in my 78 years of coaching. He speaks to the crowd. Do you know how wide home plate is in Little League? Does anybody know in this room how wide home plate is? 17 inches. Some coach yells out a question more as a question than an answer. He asked the crowd, how wide is the plate in middle school? Another long pause, 17 inches. Came another guess from another reluctant coach. He said, that's right, in his old voice. Now, how many high school coaches do we have in the room? And there was hundreds of hands shot up in this room as the pattern began to appear. How wide is home plate? 17 inches. The crowd says, and sounding more confident now. He said, you're right, the old coach barked. And you college coaches, how wide is home plate in college? 17 inches, the crowd says in unison. Any minor league coaches here? How wide is home plate in pro ball? 17 inches. Right. And in the major leagues, how wide is home plate in the major leagues? 17 inches. He says slowly, 17 inches. And what do they do with a big league pitcher who can't throw the ball over that 17 inches? He paused. And he heard some voices say, oh, they might cut him. They might send him down to the minors. What they don't do, they don't say, that's okay, Jimmy. You can't hit 17-inch target? We'll make it 18 inches. Or 19 inches. We'll make it even 20 inches. So you have a better chance of hitting it. If you can't hit that, Let us know so you can make it wider, say 25 inches. He paused. Says, coaches, what we do when our best player shows up late to practice? What do we do when our best player shows up late to practice? When our team rules forbid facial hair and a guy shows up unshaven? What if he gets caught drinking? Do we hold him accountable? Or do we change the rules to fit him? Do we widen home plate? The chuckles gradually faded as 4,000 coaches at the convention grew quiet. Now the fog's lifting as the old coach's message starts to unfold. He turned to the plate. He turned the plate towards himself, and using a Sharpie began to draw something. When he turned it toward the crowd, he put the coin up. A house was rebuilt, complete with freshly drawn doors, 2 windows. This is the problem in our homes today, with our marriages, with the way we parent our kids, with our discipline. We don't teach accountability to our kids. There's no consequence for failing to meet standards. We widen the plate. Then, to point at the top of the house, he added a small American flag. This is the problem in our schools today. The quality of our education decreasing, and the teachers have been stripped of the tools they need to be successful and educate and discipline our young people. We are allowing the others to widen the home plate. And where is that getting us, as he said? He spoke softly. If I'm lucky, you'll remember one thing from this old coach today, and it's this. If we fail to hold ourselves to a higher standard, a standard that we know to be right, if we fail to hold our friends, our spouses, our colleagues, and our children to the same standards, if we're unwilling or unable to provide a consequence when they don't meet the standard, and if our schools and churches and our government fail to hold themselves accountable to those they serve, there is but one thing to look forward to. With that, he held the home plate in front of his chest and turned it around and revealed its dark black backside. Dark days ahead, he says. Coaches, teachers, administrators, and parents, let's keep our players, no matter how good they are, our own children, and most of all, let's keep ourselves at those 17 inches. Thank you for allowing me the stage, and I'll see you next week.
And the winner of the Dushy Family Hebrew Language Award is La La Land. Just a matter of time. Our next presenter, Inbal Mazouk, and Shirley Benatar will be joining us. Like so many, you came to CTA as a parent, but you're leaving as an employee. This goes to show if you hang around, we'll give you a job. You're not careful. It's been a great 2 years at CTA with the Hazoots. We were lucky to have you here, and happy you were able to have the American experience of traveling to other countries. Noam and Daniel have left such a mark on their classes here at the school. We will miss them, and we will miss you as a colleague, and we wish you the best back in Israel. Here is Inbal Hazout and Shirley Benatar.
Studying a foreign language is a little bit difficult, wouldn't you say? Nachon? Yes. Therefore, I'd like to thank the Deshi family for creating the Hebrew Language Award and recognizing the importance of Hebrew language in our school. The award goes to the top student in the school. And the good news is that our selection was very difficult, which means that we had several really excellent students. So I'm going to give the floor to Uma.
I would like first to say thank you to Rabbi Randolph for giving me the opportunity to teach the event, to teach Hebrew here. This is what I've been doing for, I think, 18 years in Israel, and This is my only year here in the States that I'm doing it in the CTA. I'm very proud of my students. I taught the advanced Hebrew here, and my students in Israel are waiting for me. So is my principal, as I promised him, that I will be back. So thank you, Rabbi Gentle, for this opportunity. I have to admit that I admire each one of my students that I met during this fabulous year, from the 7th grade to the 12th grade. Thank you to all of you. You really, each one of you has such a magnificent importance to me. Thank you. The student that earned the Deshi Hebrew Excellence Award is a serious and consistent learner. The student cared about the connection to the State of Israel. This student showed interest and deep knowledge in everything that was taught in class and beyond. The student had a positive attitude and thirst of learning and strived for high achievement with organization and meticulous study habits. This student was able to integrate all that was learned in class and implement all the skills needed for learning the language, writing skills, reading comprehension, and conversation. This student is respectful to her peers and her teachers, a hard worker, and an excellent student, and I'm so proud of her. The student receiving the Deshi Award is Dasha Cooper.
Shirley, stand, wait, stand together, and look my way. One more. Thank you.
As the years roll by, it's easy to forget the passage of time and the devastating toll it has on us. Thankfully, Dina Tannenbaum is there to remind us. Thanks to her, all of CTA employees were used to carry on oblivious to the ravages of time. We have been provided a daily reminder. Thanks, Dina. We didn't think it was possible that somehow Mr. Kramer got tagged. It's true. I guess they didn't have color back then. But here is the teacher responsible for bringing color to our halls to give the Robert Lights and Visual Arts Award. Here is Amy Nyworth.
Hi, everybody. So, as most of you know, after 7th grade, students at CTA don't have art again until 10th grade, which, depending on your perspective, is either awesome or a bummer. But what I love about getting the 10th graders back is seeing how they've grown since 7th grade, and I've loved getting to know them as more mature adults this year in art class during second semester. So I'm here to present the Robert Lights and Visual Art Award to a student who really has a growth mindset as far as art goes. Art is hard. It's not easy. It takes work. You might have walked through a museum, seen an abstract artwork, and thought, I could do that. You probably can't. And if you've been in my 10th grade art class, we talked a little bit about art criticism. Those pieces take thought and work as well. And to be successful in art, you really need to put in the work. And the student has definitely put in the work. You can find her sketching in her sketchbook, working on different ways to show perspective in the human body, working on proportions of hands and faces, looking at endless tutorials on YouTube, and definitely listening to some funky music while she's doing that. This year's Robert Lights Individual Art Award goes to Gali McKeon.
It was a year of protest. Everywhere it seemed, people stood up to rally against what they thought was an unjust administration, only to finally resign themselves to wearing the school uniform at CBI. Ultimately, they knew they would have to face the wrath of our next presenter. He is CTA's re-accommodator, Rabbi Weiss. And I'd also call on the benefactor of the Rabbi David Stavsky Midot Award and past president of CTA, Michael Weiss.
I have no clue who's going to be the recipient of the award. I'm here to speak about briefly Rabbi Stavsky. I'm looking around at the high school and seeing a bunch of students who are 16, 17, maybe even 18 years old. In the late 50s, 1956, a 27-year-old man, Rabbi David Stavsky, came to Columbus, Ohio. There was literally nothing going on from a Jewish standpoint, and he was hired to run a synagogue, run the Beth Jacob congregation, which in itself is a full-time job. Over the next 47 years, on the side of running his shul, Rabbi Stavsky built a school, built the Eruv, was very instrumental in starting the Kollel, built the mikvah, built kashrus in Columbus, and he did this all for you guys to continue building your families. What's amazing is, all of us in 2017 are into stuff. We're into possessions. This got this kind of car, I have this kind of investment, whatever the case may be. If you spoke to Rabbi Stavsky in the 90s, he would say 86. And you would say to yourself, what's 86? In those days, I was in high school, obviously, and over the many, many years, he made 86 kids either sent them to high school out of town or made them religious. And as a result of all of that, there's hundreds and hundreds of families that, if it wasn't for Rabbi Stavsky, wouldn't be where they are today. The Midos Award, and I'm looking briefly at the brochure, says the student will have displayed empathy, sincerity, kindness, consideration, responsibility, respect both in and out of school. Those are basic fundamental Midos that Rabbi Stavsky saw in kids, but there was one particular Midah that was very, very important to Rabbi Stavsky. And that midah for students and teenagers and even adults was that of hakaras hatov, showing appreciation, recognizing good in others. Today, a lot of students, a lot of even adults, think their presence is the present. And the point I'm trying to make that Rabbi Stavsky made to all of his students and his congregation is the importance of knowing where you came from, knowing who made you what you are. Your wonderful teachers, your administration, your rabbis, and I'm sure the recipient of today's award is going to have also that midah that meant so much to Rabbi Stavsky, that of Hakaras HaTov.
Good evening, everybody. I submit I have the harder part of this presentation. As a matter of fact, I think I submit that I have the hardest job of the entire maybe Steve's. It's really an unfair position that the school put me in, and that's why I get to do it every year. I don't know else wants it. I actually had an epiphany today that probably the majority of the high school is going to be upset at me in just about a minute, and they're probably right. Perhaps it deserved the Mido Award, and make a good argument for that. It's a strong testimony to our high school, to our community, and ultimately to its parents, the fine character of the students in this school. But then I was comforted because I recognized if you truly had the Mido, you wouldn't be upset not getting the award, but if you got upset, perhaps you don't deserve it anyway. So, in that light, I'm totally comfortable saying that this year's recipient, we're proud to give it many years in the working, Chani Wilson. Thank you. For being such a wonderful model of respect for our Torah, making the school what it is. I'm just getting started. Okay, we have a triple header, a hatcher coming up for our next award. But the good news is on the back page of tonight's playbill. Okay. I'm going to call up Karen Tannenbaum to introduce the award, the Pearson and Thea Press Judaic Studies Award.
I'm presenting the Pearson and Thea Press Judaic Studies Award. My parents were very involved in the school over many, many years. My sister and I both went to Torah Academy and both graduated 8th grade. There was no high school at the time. I have 3 daughters who graduated high school. My sister's quadruplets also graduated high school. And now we have Yitzi, who just finished 3rd grade today, and Judy, who just graduated kindergarten. This award is presented to the student who has demonstrated a wide-ranging interest in Torah learning, participated actively in Torah study both in and out of school, has excellent grades in Torah classes, demonstrated excellent skills in reading, translating, and explaining Torah texts, and has shown respect for Torah learning. The award goes to a student who really loves meatball subs and also really likes chicken, and especially the necks. And the award goes to Noah.
Let Noah have it. over. Rub your whites over. Okay, stop. Now look. Okay, Karen, Noah.
Okay, Rabbi Sanders, don't trouble me. Take this, the brown safer out of the pew over there in front of you. Yeah, warmer? Yes. Anyways, let me just elaborate for a moment. So Noah's going to get actually 3 things to make your trip down here worth it. So, as Karen mentioned, Noah's just received the award tonight for Torah study. Noah's one of many students. I can embarrass you for almost too bad for your diagrams. One of the many students that sees his band early, 6:10 in the morning. You can see him again. We all see him. Inspires us. Late at night at the goal again. Noah accomplished, we'll hear in a moment, something pretty significant over his years here at CTA. It took a lot of time, which was described in this award. This is a testimony of his diligence in Torah. Julie, can you check what's in the pew in front of you? How many svarim are there? 8 svarim. No, make sure you put this name right up. Thank you. But Noah's been putting in his time and he accomplished something very significant. I want to give a bracha to you, Noah, on behalf of all of us, and as well to all of you traveling to Eretz Yisrael. Something encouraging today. There's a Gemara in Ketubot that tells us, the Ketubot, about how the scholars in Israel are double the caliber of the scholars outside of Eretz Yisrael. Just the way it is, the air, the Amir out here in Eretz Yisrael is much wiser. So that puts us in second place from the get-go. But the same Gemara says that if you come from outside of Eretz Yisrael to Eretz Yisrael, you will become double the caliber of the scholars in Israel. So do the math quickly. That means in just some time, you'll all be 4 times as wise as all of us here. So, a bracha on behalf of us, you and all of those traveling digital, you should make us all look stupid. Okay. So, I got this little saving too. I know also with the Gabbai here for a number of years, and he's giving the safer in gratitude to his service. Little sticker, which, if you don't return it, it's still weird. Dear Noah, on behalf of our school, thank you for the years in service. Years of service as the Gabbai of our high school minion. Under your leadership, our minion has flourished. Noah is trained Gabbai under him. He's taking the lead in reading the Torah and giving other people the honor of reading the Torah, amongst other things. So thank you very much on behalf of all of us. Okay, I'm almost done. The last thing I want to introduce Noah, he's about to make a scene on all of Shas Mishnayot, which if you remember from last year, Noah made a scene on Sam Sudar. This is the entire thing. It's an accomplishment that takes a lot of time, of diligence and perseverance. We're excited that he pulled it off before he graduated here in CTA. Without further ado, Noah, take it away.
There's a Gemara, a very famous Gemara in Kiddushin, Kaf Lamed on the Beis. It says, Kaf HaKadosh Baruch Hu Amar Lahem Yisrael, God gave to the Jewish people, B'ni, my son, Briti Yetzahara, I created the Yetzahara, Briti Lo Torah Tava, and I created the Torah as its antidote. Very famous Gemara. It says God creates the Yetzahara, but he also creates the Torah as its antidote. In these past 4 years at Columbus Torah Academy, the Torah really has been my antidote. I started in 9th grade. I don't know if Mrs. Morris is here, but I started in here Chumash Kabbalah class, not knowing how to read Hebrew, not knowing who Rashi was, Tosfos was, not knowing there were 6 books of the Mishnah, and thank God I stand here making me see them with all 6 of them. And I think it just speaks. It speaks volumes to the school and to all the school has done for me. But the Gemara says that Torah is the antidote, but what people overlook is the doctor giving you the antidote. And the school, Rabbi Savage, Rabbi Kimchi, Rabbi Dranoff, Rabbi Whites, have all administered the antidote as well as any doctor could. And from them I've learned that, when things are not looking good, when things are not as you hope they are, Torah is always there for you to learn it. And more than just learning it to know the knowledge, but to actually learn it and to try to put it into practice, that's the ultimate goal. So thank you to all my Rabbanim for that, and I owe you a gratitude that I cannot repay, but God willing, next year in Israel, I'll start trying to repay. Also, just to thank my father for what he's done putting me in school. He bought me all many books that I thank God got to study and got to learn, and that this Siyum should be in honor of my grandfather, Tzion ben Mashiach. His Yortzeit is Yod Nisan. Thank you very much. The last Mishnah in Shas and Uksin, Seder Taharis, says, Amar Yeshua ben Lev, Atir HaKadosh Baruch Hu, L'nefil L'chol Tzaddik, L'tzadik, Shlosh Me'od L'Esra Amalot, Shnemar L'nefil L'meid Yesh L'Otzvim Amalei. God gives to the righteous, in the next world they'll inherit 310 different worlds. As the Pasuk says, what that means is a little abstract, but each person, each tzaddik will receive 310 words. And he finishes, Amar Rav Shimon ben Chalta, Lo Matzah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kli Mechazik Baruch Hu Yisrael, El HaShalom, Shnem HaShem, Oz Lo Yitain, Hashem Yirech Et Lo HaShalom. There's no better gift to give to the Jewish people. There's no better thing that God can give us than the blessing of peace. We say at the end of Osei Shalom B'Ramav, the end of the Kohanim blessing, we say blessings for peace. We always try to end the bracha with peace. Because peace is something that Hashem tells us is the highest of blessings. Something that if you have peace, then everything else falls into place. Hadron Allah, Shtei Sidrei Mishnah, Hadron Allah, Daita Allah, Shtei Sidrei Mishnah, Daita Allah, Lani Shtei Mincha, Shtei Sidrei Mishnah, V'lo Tishtei Minei Lo, V'ama Hadam, V'lo V'ama Daita. Hadron Allah, Shtei Sidrei Mishnah, Hadron Allah, Daita Allah, Shtei Sidrei Mishnah, Hadron Allah, Lo Tishtei Minach, Shtei Sidrei Mishnah, Lo Tishtei Minei Lo, V'ama Hadam, V'lo V'ama Daita. Yer Tzom Rech Hadron Yitei Shetei, Tortecha Amitenu B'Ama Zeh, V'tiyei Manu L'Olam Haba Hachana Bar Papa, Rami Bar Papa, Nachman Bar Papa, Nachman Bar Papa, Achim Bar Papa, Amam Mir Bar Papa, Raftian Bar Papa, Rechish Bar Papa, Sidhu Bar Papa, Adi Bar Papa, Dvar Bar Papa. Hara Adri Edi Rachel Ted Mufir Fiyat Al-Khobit Yisrael Yehed Kulanu Nachmu V'Tzatin Tanin Al-Khobit Yisrael Kulanu Yadesh Nachmu Dinu Tatakal Al-Avar Tatminu V'Tini Kol L'Olam Alei Yid L'Bi Tamin T'Chal Aman Lo Yevesh L'Olam Lo Rashad Mekei Ki Lam Chani Baruch Atah Adonai L'Dinu Kukach Amin Amin Ben Sel Sel B'Ed Wadim Ana Adonai 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 V'Tini Shaltani Sh'Torah Chakenu Mishvag Beit Chamidrash V'Lo Shemat Chakenu Mishvag Karnot She'u Mishvachem V'Hem Mishvachem V'Hem Mishvachem V'Dver Torah V'Hem Mishvachem V'Dver V'Latam V'Hem Olam V'Hem Olim In Olim V'Kalim Sachar V'Hem Olam V'Hem V'Kalim Shachar Ani Ratzim V'Hem Ratzim V'Hem Ratzim V'Bor She'Tichenu V'Tzid V'Chayel V'Ba Kirtan V'Nech Adonai Kishem She'V'Zenu V'Sim She'Tei Sidrei Mishnah Kach V'Zenu V'Tichilas V'Tarim Achrim V'Salim V'Din V'Din L'Shmor V'Asod V'Chayim V'Kol T'Beit V'Techa V'Ava V'Chizifiyot Kol HaTanaim V'Abrahim V'Tanei V'Chimim Yot L'Lil Zer She'Lo Yimot V'Tarab V'Pnei V'Nei Zerah V'Zichar Ad Olam V'Tayeg קהילתך תנאותך בשבש תשמע לך בזה כי תשרח כי ויברו ממינך יצטרך שתי חיות חרף בימי עושר כבוד ושלום אדוני עזר ותן אדוני ברח ולא שלום.
Please rise for the Kash.
Rav Rash Shmer Rabba, Rav to say, Zavati Pati Bati Blati Mitius, Allah Yikam, Atai Lamon Nim, Barak Yidi, Yish, Alayim, Shavata, Yikam, 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 Arab, Alatam, Alatal, Ishmaya, Latif, Yimam, Kadish, Berkub, Alatam, Berkub, Atai Yikam, Yimam, Atai Yikam, Yisab, Allah, Yismak, Ravim, Amen.
Thank you again, Karen and Tannen, for making a nice cake to celebrate the Siyum. I guess in the back over there. Mazel tov, everybody. Everyone's leaving.
Don't leave.
Wait, hold on. It's not done yet.
Not over.
It's not over.
Not over. Not over.
No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Hey,
No, it's not done.
award ceremony. We've got the award ceremony. Come on, let's put it in there. Come on. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute, hold on. Just a minute, if I can have everyone's attention here before we close this evening. Before we close, I just wanted to say last Sunday was remarkable to the graduates. I didn't get a chance to to speak with all of you. It's kind of crazy what a moving event Sunday was. And to the freshmen of 2021, well done tonight. You can now buy a memento of this year due to the hard work of Rosie Caleb and the yearbook staff. Yearbooks are on sale right now as you exit the shul. And finally, one more thing, will all people who won combination awards, these 11 who have plaques, please come up to the beamer for your picture. Thank you parents, thank you benefactors, thank you students, thank you families. What a great year. Have a great summer.